Good evening, everyone. IO ladies. Nice to meet all of you. Can you hear me well?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so it's really this is the new normal. No, we're becoming zombies.
Zombies.
We're all zombies now, right? This is the new normal. Um, I'm happy to be with you. Faith gave us a topic, I think a week plus ago, Faith, no? Or two
Yes,
weeks
one
ago.
week.
A very interesting topic. So it's going to be a bedroom topic. So I'm in our bedroom also. I can't get a San Francisco background. So bear with me if my background is the bedroom. Pero okay lang sa topic natin. No. So so feel free to interact. I think the hard thing with meeting online and speaking online is sometimes you don't know if people are still there, right? So that's the struggle of teachers now.
That's true.
Thank you for those whose videos are on. No, then I know I'm not speaking to a blank laptop or something. So I'm gonna share the screen. Nag-allow ka na, Faith?
Oh, wait lang.
You have to allow me so I can share. Oh,
Allow.
good evening again, ha? I don't memorize the name, but yeah. Oh, by the way, very beautiful singing just now.
Nagpakita ka sa imong wedding photo, G.
You
Kanina.
showed it. You have
Yes.
it.
Na-share. O, pwede na? Try daw. Try now.
Um. Did you make me host?
Yeah. Or you can share.
Someone's entering. Okay. All right. Wait a moment, huh?
Besides.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Okay.
Wait. Okay, so let's go. Okay, someone's come. Ashley's in. Mm-hmm. Okay, the title that was given to us, this the seductive power of desire. Okay, wait, huh? I think you can make me co-host na lang, Faith, so that you can admit people.
Ay, that's why the ay. Yung
Yeah.
nakitaan si ate.
Yes.
Okay, request. Okay, I'm so sorry. I'm also new to
No
this. So let
problem.
me get the power. The power. Reclaim host.
You can reclaim the power and make me
Pwede naman
co-host.
siguro i-next daw siya.
Yeah. I can do it.
There.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So, thank you for the prayer just now. So we'll begin. Okay. So can everybody see the screen? Can you see the screen? Yes.
Active power of desire.
Thank you very much for the thumbs up.
Mhm.
All right. So we're gonna talk about desire. So I don't know. We are all of different ages, different experiences. So I don't know where you're coming from. So we're gonna start with let's understand desire. Is it natural or is it bad? Is desire okay or is it a bad thing? And we don't really talk about this, right? It's still taboo, even in the Philippines, to talk about, uy, akong mga desire, landi kayo paminawon, no? But if you look at the book of Romans, okay, here it's contrasting natural and unnatural desires. It talks about shameful desires in the New Living Translation. So it's describing desire. There's such a thing as a shameful one. So therefore, there is something as a non-shameful one, a good one. So desires are natural, or it can be unnatural or shameful, which we call lust. So desires are actually um, natural. No, all of us have desires. No, if you have no desire, I wonder if you're alive, right? So all of us have desires, and that's okay. But the Bible does differentiate between uh, good kind of desire or the natural kind of desire and unnatural ones, or they call shameful lust. Here in this context, the women were exchanging sexual relations, natural sexual relations, for unnatural ones. And the Bible calls it shameful desires. Okay? Desires become bad. So from this text lang, we can see that desires become bad or unnatural when it is satisfied or met apart from what it was intended for. So how do we know it's bad? when that's not God's design, when it's not what it was intended for, then that desire becomes wrong. It becomes bad. Okay? And desire will be called So desire per se, the word is not a bad thing. It's not a bad word about that later. So God created our desires, not just sexual desire, but tonight we're gonna be focusing on sexual desire. Okay, if you have questions, you can just type it in the chat box or you can just comment it
So feel free to chat your questions or PM to me directly. Naputol si Ati Dandan.
Faith, I'm there.
Ay, na-mute.
Nag-lag si ano,
Yan,
Atsi.
naglag. How do we do this? Ako na siya Yeah, sorry guys. Would it be helpful if kita tanan atong i-turn off atong camera?
Okay. Yeah, maybe.
Am I still laggy?
Ang upload, right? Yes.
Yes. Am I still laggy?
Okay na.
Okay na.
Yeah. If this happens again, I'll go to data.
I think it will help no if i-off na mo mong camera para mas
No, I
hinay
think it's not yours. It's our globe here. So I don't know why. It's quite strong. It's full, but I don't know. Sorry about that. Can I
Putol jud
share
siya.
screen again, Faith? Everyone, this is what happens.
Yes, T. You can share screen now.
All right. Oh Lord, help us that it will not lag again. So we're talking about desires, no? Now, desires are powerful. Tama yung title. But desires are powerful because it propels us to set goals, to learn new skills, to connect, to become better, to develop in all areas of life. So it moves us to further development. So desires are natural, they're God given, and they're powerful. There are many desires, but tonight we're going to focus on sexual desire. Oops. All right. But here I want to show also that while God designed desires for doesn't want us to fulfill them the way God wants to fulfill them. Okay, so the natural desire, there's sorry, to have these desires, therefore, is not sinful. But what we do with those desires will determine whether we have moved from righteous desire or to shameful desire. had that feel something in your body for the opposite sex, it's not sinful, no? But what we do with those feelings, with those desires next, that can determine whether it becomes sinful or not. Are you okay, Faith? Are you there?
See, sorry kayo, it's kuan
Okay.
siya, lalag siya.
Naglag?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Do you want me to switch to another? Is it
Okay na.
laggy also now? Now,
Okay
is
na.
it? Can you hear me well?
Okay na. Yes.
Okay na. The internet's not very cooperative.
Na-fluctuate siya.
Yeah, it fluctuates. Yeah. Can you see this?
Yes.
Yeah, I want to introduce you. I don't know how many of you have read the book Song of Solomon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, we have.
Yes, we
Yes.
have, right? Yeah.
Yes.
So good. A lot of you are saying yes. I wonder how did it feel when you read it for the first time? I hear the little laugh. It's quite awkward, right? Did you feel
Awkward
awkward?
siya.
It's
Especially kung
Yeah.
i-read aloud.
very descriptive.
Very descriptive. Correct. Right.
Ulaw
So
kay ko
I just
i-read
got an
aloud.
excerpt. Yeah. You want to read it aloud?
Ulaw, ulaw.
Ulaw, no? Parang our faces will turn red, no? And actually, I realized when I read the Song of Solomon, I read it quickly. Yung murag ulaw bitaw kayo basahon. But if you look at this book of Song of Solomon, if we look at this, the man is speaking to the lady, um, describing her body parts, right? Your navel is a rounded goblet that never lacks blended wine. Your waist is a mound of wheat encircled by lilies. Your breasts are like two fawns, like twin fawns of a gazelle. So, and then the guy says, I will climb the palm tree, I'll take hold of its fruit. May your breast be like clusters of grapes on the vine, the fragrance of your breath like apples, and your mouth like the best wine. So, it reminds me of French kissing. No? Parang talagang kiss deeply to. And then the girl says, may the wine go straight to my beloved, flowing gently over lips and teeth. I belong to my beloved, and his desire is for me. Come, my beloved, let us go to the countryside. Let us spend the night in the villages. Let us go early to the vineyards to see if the vines have budded, if their blossoms have opened, and if pomegranates are in bloom. There I will give you my love. What do you think is happening here? Reading through this, what comes to your mind?
They are making love.
Yes, they're making love. They're about to have intercourse, right?
Yeah.
Planning.
Yeah, the girl.
The girl is planning, right? The girl is talking about she's gonna open up for him, right? So
Yeah.
it's not really about flowers and fruits here. These are just metaphors, right? And so the Song of Solomon, if you notice, no, I'm glad you've read it. Those who have not read it, I don't know how you feel right now, but it openly refers to naked bodies and even sexual organs. And if you notice, there's no shame in their enjoyment. There's no guilt in their enjoyment. There's delight in each other. There's an openness and vulnerability to each other. Can you imagine someone looking at your body? How do you feel, ladies, if someone was looking at you from head to toe?
Uncomfortable.
All right, there's a like, sa kayang gihunahuna, no? Basin pangit kayo ko, no? But there's this openness. The girl was looking at the guy, and the guy was looking at the girl. This couple was openly enjoying each other. They're being free to be vulnerable. They feel safe enough to be vulnerable. Let me ask the married ones here. When you make love, do you have lights on or lights off?
Dim lights.
Oh, yeah. Off.
Why dim lights? Why dim lights? Di ba?
Ambience.
May ambience. But partly also because it's a bit awkward, right? When it's so bright, isn't it?
Yes.
We feel vulnerable, at least with the dim lights na hidden tayo sa shadows, no? So
Yes.
we feel vulnerable. Yeah, but the couple here did not feel any shame. They felt so free to enjoy each other. There's joy in giving and receiving, no? And there's a secure sense of belonging. I am his and he is mine. So the kanta just now was so swak, no? Yung still the one I
Mm.
belong to. So here we see another thing I want to notice is in the Bible, right? You know, the book of Song of Solomon has no mention about God, but it's telling us that in God's design is deep, joyful enjoyment of sexual union in an exclusive, committed relationship manifested in the act of marriage. Now, I put it there manifested in the act of marriage because marriage per se does not, if you're married, that doesn't mean that you are fulfilling God's command. There are many marriages that are not according to God's design. But God's design is that sex would be enjoyed to the max in a committed relationship, and that is in marriage. So, very amazingly, says God approved ang desire given by God. Not only is it natural, it's not only for procreation. I like what Josh McDowell said. It's for recreation. Faith, hello?
Okay.
Sorry.
Hello,
Yes,
Yes, you're
Ate
T.
back.
Naman. Hi, sorry, I'm back. I didn't know I was gone.
The last line about Josh McDowell.
Josh
Yes.
McDowell, right? I think some of you were in IDC, and he said, sex is not just for procreation, it's for recreation also. Did you hear that? Isn't
Mm.
that amazing? That
And share
how
balik the screen sino wala ang PowerPoint.
it's okay. The PowerPoint,
Yes.
naawala. Is it
Wala.
there? Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Nawala di. Mm-hmm. Okay, so Josh McDowell said that it's there, right? Yeah.
There.
I want us to notice God approved sex. God is not against it. No, God is not nega towards sex, but He wants it to be done in the right place so that it can be enjoyed to the max. Just like what the Song of Solomon is portraying. The man, the couple here, and the man and the woman are enjoying each other to the max. There's no shame. There's no guilt, but there's just pure enjoyment of each other. And that's what Josh McDowell said for recreation. Pero there is, how do we enjoy this? No, how can we enjoy the key ingredient to satisfying desires maximally is to wait for the right time. I know you've heard this time and again. Um, when I was younger and I read this Song of Solomon, which I read very quickly, maulaw ko magbasa, no? But I read this part. Daughters of Jerusalem, I charge you by the gazelles and by the does of, is it Engedi? Of the field, do not
Yes.
arouse or awaken love until it so desires. Three times the Shulamite, the girl, the woman in the Song of Solomon, said, do not arouse or awaken love until it so desires. It is her advice. So the entire book of Song of Solomon is talking about her courtship and then and their lovemaking and their marital lovemaking. And this is her advice. Ayaw pagdali. Do not arouse or awaken love until it so desires. They took their time. And when the time was right, they enjoyed each other so much. Can talk about sex. It's good that you have this group, and I hope in your small groups you can talk more about it. I wish young people would ask me, "How's your sex life?" Because I want to say it's great. Mm. I want to say that, not because I want to hambog, but because I want to encourage you that it is great. It can be great, no? And but the problem with, okay, so this is her advice. 3 times she mentioned this: do not arouse or awaken love until it so desires. But the problem is, I'm having a hard time here because our slides are
Kaya kasi,
I think tungod sa ga-share siya bandwidth sa iyang husband na nag-Zoom also.
yeah, murag kinagdungan.
sorry, this is the, I'm gonna go to use my data so I don't share with him. Or I'll change to a different one. Okay, let me try. I'll try, sandali.
Yeah, okay,
Sige
okay.
pa.
I'll try
So,
it in different.
feel free to message me. Pwede naman ko ma-personal message if you have questions addressed to our speaker tonight. Even if wala niya na-mention nga topic, pwede rin dyan ninyo. Feel free to ask. Now is the right time to gather, collect
Can you
questions.
hear me? Yeah, can you hear
Okay
me?
na. Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, I'm using a different internet. All right. All right, so the problem here is okay, I'm now the host, so I can share.
Share
I
screen.
have to do it again. All right. Mm-hmm. Okay, there.
Okay, there.
Well, no, the problem, so we know the advice of the Shulamite. We have to wait, right? Do not awaken or arouse someone to marriage. Do you know when you're going to get married? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Faith, am I still with you?
Yes
Yes.
pa.
Okay.
Wala may
Yes.
naka-answer sa
So
imong
there's a
question.
long wait, right? The problem. Wa mo ka-answer? Kanusa mo mo maminyo? Kabalo mo?
Only God
But the
knows.
problem is, only God knows. Yeah. But the problem is, so we know this. I know you know this. Wait for the right time. You
Yeah.
know this, right? Sunday school answer yan. But the problem is from present time. You don't know how long it is. Only God knows, right? So it creates frustration, right? So I'm not saying it's gonna be long, Faith. No, we don't know. Only God knows. But still, we need to wait. So, oh no, my internet's gonna be, I know. All right. First, what can we do while we are waiting? First, change your perspective. Waiting is not wasted time, nor is it wasted opportunity. We live in a very what do you call it? Sex saturated world, right? So, like in the US, if you're a virgin, you're the odd one out. And it's slowly becoming like that in the Philippines. Kung wala ka experience, weird ka, no? And people talk about their exploits like it's just the news yesterday, it's just common. Living in or having several partners has become commonplace. But the challenge of the Bible is the same. It has not changed. The Bible does not say, okay, modern naman tano, sige, pwede na. No. The advice of the Shulamite stays the same. Wait for the right time. So the struggle is real, my dear friends. Struggle will be long. Depends on when you're going to get married or if you're going to get married. But I tell you, the rewards will be so worth it. Okay? So first we have to change our perspective so that we will not be so frustrated. So the seductive power of desire will not overcome us. First we have to change our perspective. No? Um, uh, I want to share with you. Faith told you that she was at our wedding, but I don't know if Faith knows our love story. Do you know about Faith?
No.
Oh, okay. Um, I had my boyfriend, my first boyfriend, at 26 years old. Is it Dugay or early?
Dugay.
Dugay by
Dugay,
Okay
right?
today's
lang.
Dugay.
Dugay.
standards.
No
By
comment.
Yeah.
today's
Joke.
standard is Dugay.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think
Dugay.
so.
Ah,
Usually high
imagine during
school.
nanay boyfriend, right? During my
Yeah.
time, Dugay na. My friend got married at 20 years old. By
Wow.
26, she has her first son. So 26, the first time I had my boyfriend. So I know the struggle. I know how hard it is to wait. I'm also exposed, even though sheltered, pero I'm also exposed to societal pressure. I also long to belong. I was also curious what it felt like for someone to hold my hand and to hug me. But I also believe that my love life was important to God. I believe that if God knows me and has a plan for my life, then my love life is also part of His plan. So, my first boyfriend is now my husband. He was my first and my last. Yeah. But I tell you, hadlok sa go eh. 26 years old, wala pa ka boyfriend, di ba? I had suitors, but I was waiting for the right one. And there were times I questioned myself, sakto ba niya akong gibuhat? Mara mo ko alkansi? Well,
Ano man.
ha? Alkansi kay
Yung ano man.
others, oh, na sila yung mga
Age.
jowa, di ba? Ako jowa. Oh.
Wow.
They have someone to call the one their own. Ako wala.
Mm.
But again, I wanted to wait for the right one so that I could sing that song, Still the One. I don't know how to sing that song. But I want to share something with you. So, nanami, na ako'y boyfriend. So, we're boyfriend and girlfriend. It took me a year and a half to say yes to him. I prayed for a year and a half because I wanted to make sure the first one is the last one. So, I'm a bit strict with myself. So, I never prayed or cried for anything as much as I prayed for my lifetime partner because I believe that was important to God. It was important to me. So, boyfriend, girlfriend na me. But when we were boyfriend and girlfriend, um, Johnny, my husband, never put his arms around me or held my hand. Wala pa yung ana. Medyo torpe man ni akong husband. But one day, when we go for walks, that's how we go for dates. We go for walks, we talk, and then we go back to our dorm. This was in Singapore. And then sometimes we would stop and talk and sit down on that. We have a footbridge. And one day we were sitting at the footbridge talking, and then I think we prayed. Then he stood up. Then he stood up and he looked at me and he said, May I hold your hand? Oh, by the way, he knelt down. He knelt down and reached out and said, May I hold your hand? And that was the first time we held hands. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. And my goodness, I was so kilig because I told you he's torpe, right? I never expected that. And and I was longing, Lord, I want to have someone. I want to have a romantic love story, but this guy I don't think he's gonna be like that. He doesn't know how. But here he did it. He knelt down and said, May I hold your hand? And so for the first time, I felt what his hand felt like, which was very sweaty because he was nervous. No, but what I'm saying here is that I waited, but there's so many stories, so interesting that I'm telling you that God knows our desires, and when we wait, it's not wasted time or opportunity. If if I didn't wait for him, and I had a lot of boyfriends, so holding of hands would not have been special for us both, right? It would have not have been a special moment for us. But anyway, that's one of the things I want. One of the things to deal with the long wait or frustration is we have to change our perspective. It is not a waste of time. Second, we have to change our consumption of media, or at least critique our consumption of media. And third, change your intimacy goals. Tend your vineyard. We'll talk more about this. So first,
For
change your
you?
perspective.
Yeah, do it.
Hello,
Awesome.
are you hearing me?
Yes
Yes.
po.
Okay,
Yes.
go. So I like this in desiringgod.org. One of the writers wrote this: waiting is vineyard tending. If you read the Song of Solomon again in chapter 4, verse 12, the girl says, I know, the man says, you are a garden locked up, my sister, my bride. You're a spring enclosed, a sealed fountain. Then in chapter 7, verse 13, the girl says, I have stored up for you, my beloved. So if you look at this in the snapshots that were given to us, we see that they held back. There were moments that they wanted more. There were moments that they were tempted, but they held back. But that became a precious thing. The man says, you were sealed up for me. You were sealed up for the right time. Are you still there?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
because I
Yes,
thought
yes.
because I
Better
couldn't
na
see Faith.
internet.
Okay, so
Thank
we
you, Lord.
separated our internet, so you're right. Maybe the
Um,
load was too heavy. Now, so while we're waiting, we're sealing ourselves up. It's not sayang na oras. We are reserving ourselves. We are vineyard tending. We're keeping our vineyard well, healthy, beautiful, unspoiled, so that we can give it to our beloved. Just like when I gave my hand to him, that was a first for me and a first for him, and that felt so good. And I want to share with you that our first kiss was on our wedding day.
Wow.
Mm.
That's
Faith
so
was there,
sweet.
Ashley was there. They were our candle girls. You remember that?
yeah.
And it was the very first time I've been kissed on the lips. And I was a bit scared kasi magbangga niya among ulo, no? Pag kiss, kay di kibaw, no? Awkward kaayo pag picture taking, no? No? Unsaon ni kaya pag kiss kay I've never kissed someone on the lips and neither did he. But I don't know if Faith and Ashley remembers that. It was a very long kiss.
Really?
Yeah, it was a
I
very
don't remember.
long.
Dili pa pa
You
No.
don't remember kay bata pa mo eh, basin gisarado inyong mata at that
Oh,
time.
basi
Dili close
close.
ang eyes.
Yeah, but I tell you, it was a very long one. I could feel the hush in the congregation. It was like more than 5 seconds because he held my head and he kissed me very long. Now, but that was again another shared moment. We're both inexperienced, but we it was like it was sealed and now it's open. Now we can enjoy it. I don't know if I'm making sense to all of you here, but again, what the Shulamite is saying, do not arouse love until it so desires, until the right time, because at the right time, my goodness, you're gonna enjoy it. You're not gonna miss out. You're gonna enjoy it. When I kissed him, because it was my first, I wanna say, mas bati man ka kaysa kato akong boyfriend number two. Walang ganon. Because he was my only experience, right? And I enjoyed it. He enjoyed it. No, but of course, we're learning. We're learning. And so, number one, change your perspective. Waiting is not kaluoy, ni moy wakay uyab. No. Waiting is vineyard tending. You're reserving yourself for the right moment, for the right one. Right? And at the end, at Song of Solomon chapter 8, 8 to 9, the friends say, we have a little sister and her breasts are not yet grown. What shall we do for our sister on the day she's spoken for? Meaning when she starts to be engaged or she's ready to be engaged. If she's a wall, we'll build towers of silver on her. If she's a door, we'll enclose her with panels of cedar. In other words, they're watching this couple, and they say, wow, ang ganda ng love story niyo. We want to follow you. If we have a little sister, we're gonna cover her up too. We're gonna protect her until she is ready, until the time is right, so that she will have that kind of experience as well. So waiting is the picture. It's not emptiness. We are we are tending our vineyard for the right time. Oops, sorry. She reminds us, the Shulamite, that the farmer who invests his energy in protecting the integrity of the vineyard will not regret it later, even though the benefits of this painful perseverance won't be reaped until the time is fully ripe. It's gonna be painful. It's gonna you have to persevere. It's not easy in this world, right? It's not easy. But if you persevere, you will reap to the fullest by then. We all know this. Parang likened to this. The world tells us, buy now, pay later. Enjoy now, but you will pay later. But God's telling us, invest now, so you can enjoy later. May 10% growth interest pa. So we have to change our perspective. You're not missing out, dear ladies. If you're keeping yourself pure, you're not missing out. You're gonna enjoy to the max later. What else can we do? First, change your perspective. Change your consumption of media, or at least learn to critique. Like this one. This is an ad of Coca-Cola. When you see an ad of Coca-Cola, how do you feel?
Thirsty.
Thirsty, right? Especially when it's icy cold, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
They, the media, things, right? To want things or tell us what's important. What it fills us with images and feelings that sets our expectations and fires up our longings. If you don't want to be seduced by the power of these of not so good desires or of lust, then let's be careful with the media we're watching. It's so sad. Um, Sexual scenes are everywhere, right? Um, uh, Men in briefs are in big billboards along EDSA, like nothing. So these types of as well. So we can't help it if you drive past EDSA, you see all those, you can help it, right? But there are things that we can help. What we watch in Netflix, what we watch in View. Diba? Do you have View? Those who are into K-drama,
K-drama.
Oh.
I just downloaded View.
Wala.
K-drama. Who watches this?
Mm-mm. You,
You?
yeah.
You know this?
Mr. Queen.
Nobody watches? Mr. Queen,
Yep,
right?
Mr.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's
Mr.
interesting.
Queen.
It's interesting.
Oh, I saw that.
Mr. Queen, not Mr. Clean.
Uh-huh.
Mr. Clean. But when I was trying to find out what's gonna happen next, everybody was talking about next bed scene. So you see how sex saturated we are. There's so much to talk about this, the plot, the political drama here, what really happened. But they're all talking about the sexual thing about that. So you see how media sets or conditions us, no? So we have to learn either to change our consumption of media, or at least we need to critique our consumption of media. We have to talk to ourselves. We have to make judgment. Why? Because we bring it to our frontal lobes. We're able to control it. If not, we are letting our emotions driven by this, and slowly we are being sensitized to sexual things and desensitized to conscience, to being conscience stricken about it. So we have to critique it. We have to talk to it. Okay. So what are the other sources of seduction in your life? I believe media is one of the most powerful ones, right? Seduction means to be lured away. What is making you think about these things? What's feeding your mind with lustful thoughts? It's not just movies, not just K-drama or Hollywood, books that you read, to pocket books. And my classmates are very good. We hide our pocketbooks inside our textbooks. So
Mhm.
teachers don't know that we are reading pocketbooks during class hours. But yeah, it was interesting. It was fun. But a lot of those pocketbooks had a lot of sexual scenes, scenery, descriptive ones, very vivid. And what I felt was it's starting to make me look at people differently. It's feeding my imagination, making me look at them in sexual ways instead of who they are. And I was also starting to be serious about my walk with the Lord. And I remember I had to make a decision. Am I gonna continue consuming these pocketbooks? Am I gonna continue reading these things? Because they were enjoyable. Mga king, mga queen, the stories were nice, but there were always sexual scenes inside that were very explicit. And that would play in my mind. And so I had to make a decision. And I remember to make the decision, I took out this book, this particular book that seems to call to me again and again. I took it out, I tore it, and I burned it. Only then did I feel I could break free from that kind of thinking. What are you consuming? What kind of media? What kind of thoughts are you allowing yourself to be conditioned to? Media is one of them. Songs. It's so sad to hear the modern songs.
Mm.
Um,
Yes.
and a lot of them are actually very sexually explicit, right? And even children are
Very.
singing them.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
very, yeah. It's so sad. They don't know, and parents let them twerk to the songs, right? Like nothing, but
Yeah.
that's conditioning.
yes.
And so we have to be very careful. So for us, let's reflect. What are the sources of seduction in our lives? Those that lure us away and increase our temptation. So that's number two. Now here, I got this very nice quote. Tending your sexual vineyard is therefore not simply about actual physical sexual intercourse, but about protecting your mind from habitual lust, romantic fantasy, and pornography. So it's not just, ay, wa man ko gabuhat. I'm just reading. I'm just watching. I'm just thinking. There's no physical thing here. I should be safe, right? But no, protecting ourselves, keeping ourselves for the right one includes protecting our mind. Okay, habitual lust. Now, why did they say habitual? Because we can all have desires can be aroused anytime. No, desires can be aroused by anything we suddenly saw or heard, read, or experienced. It happens. And we need to talk to that experience to break its power over us. We get aroused, at a certain age, our bodies are very sensitive. But if we continue to look for more, allow another touch, we are cultivating habitual lust, right? So this will give more power to seduce us and it will overpower us. See, lust will not be satisfied until it gets what it wants. So we have to guard against these things. So habitual lust, romantic fantasy. Again, as I shared with you my own story, there's a lot of fantasy. Reading those books fed my imagination.
See? Okay, let's wait for a while na makabalik si Atinan.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Okay na.
Yes
Yes, we
po.
can hear
Nan.
Sorry,
you.
I didn't even know that I was gone. Okay. Could you share this? Allow share screen
Yeah.
again. Thank you, babe.
Di nga lang may food mo. Kalit
Okay.
lang ni Hilong. I thought,
Yes.
No, I thought you were there and I didn't know I was gone. Anyway, so we have to guard ourselves against these things, romantic fantasy, pornography. no? Pornography is watching others to fulfill your lust mo, di ba? So, these are poor substitutes. The question is, why is it wrong when I'm not doing it really? There's no actual physical intercourse. Why is it wrong?
For me,
Mm-mm.
wait, are you asking
Yeah, go
us
ahead.
or
Yeah,
uh,
yeah. I'm
for
asking you
me
guys.
kasi like what you mentioned kanina that
Mm.
desires propel us, right?
Mm-hmm.
So parang when you have it in your mind already, these things, the habitual lust, the romantic fantasy,
Mm.
actually nandyan na sa number one eh. For example,
Mm.
if you keep on imagining these things and then if someone touches you, then you'd
Mm.
want more. So I wonder
Yeah.
what the next thing would, like for example, for let's
Mm.
say holding hands. Oh, it's nice. How would it feel if he hugs me and then you hug, then you like it, and then you want, how would it feel if he kisses me? Parang like that. Parang one thing
Mm.
will lead to another.
Mm.
Parang ganun for me.
Yes. So, yeah, it progresses, right? Mm-mm. So, we have to be careful. When I was young, I also had fantasies because I read those books, right? But then one thing that I did, I don't know if this will be helpful, was uh, um, I would always say, I will only do that with my husband.
Mm.
I'm gonna put I make a decision that I'm gonna just do this with my husband. I'm not gonna allow. I made some decisions on and where is my limit, no? Yeah, kasi
Mm.
nga, as you said nga, that these fantasies push us towards making them happen, right? Yeah, it excites us, and it's like a movie that's playing in front of us. Yeah,
Mm.
and so it feeds. Um, Actually, this is just a question I want you to think about pornography. I'm not doing anything. I'm just watching others. Will it really damage? Yes, it
Yes.
would.
Yes, it
No,
will.
it would. Um, yes, I don't know if you're familiar with this movie, The Story of Us. It's a very, very old movie. Bata pa mo. But in this, you're not familiar, but you know Bruce Willis
Oh,
and
it's
Michelle
Bruce
Pfeiffer, right?
Willis.
Yes.
And this is
Yes.
it's a movie about this couple,
Yes.
about their marriage. But I want you to look at the bed. It's actually just the two of them on the bed. But when they were talking, discussing, then their parents appeared in their minds as if they were on the bed with them. So the story of us is not just the two of them, but it included their past with their emotional baggages with their families.
Mm.
So it's not just about them. I like this scene because it's very real. You know, whatever we experience in life, we bring with us.
Yes.
If
Yes.
you're into pornography, you also bring it with you. Even if you don't know that person you watch, it's in your mind. And when you are making love with your spouse, you'll be bringing that image with you. And
Mm.
you're gonna want to do things as what you saw, right? And you're gonna get very disappointed because in porn, those are staged, those are acting, di ba? It's not realistic. I know someone who resorted to pornography to satisfy his desires, and so maybe he says, "I did not do anything with anyone, so I'm faithful," right? But you know what? He couldn't make love to his wife without watching porn first
Mm.
because he could not have an erection without
Mm.
watching porn. So if you were the wife, how would you feel?
Mm.
Mm.
What do you think?
Yeah, I
Unless
have
third party.
I have a
Hmm?
friend nga kanang magselos gyud kaayo siya every time she knows that her
Mm.
husband is watching porn kay she
Mm.
feels nga that is supposed to be the way that her husband looks at porn should be for
Mm.
her lang unta.
Her, yes,
Yeah.
correct, correct. Nicely said. The enjoyment, the excitement. He should be excited by her, not by another woman, right?
Mm.
So it hurts. a lot. It hurts the marriage. And that's what happened. And person. But this is a problem in their marriage, right? And so watching porn, maybe say harmless. No, it's gonna bring memories or the images with us that will
Mm.
affect your enjoyment of each other. Just like we already have baggages, we have our parents, our both sides of the family, like this picture. So what if you had a lot of images? Then there's so many people on the bed. It's not just the two of you. The Bible says, "Let the marriage be held in honor among all, and let the marriage bed be undefiled, for God will judge the sexually immoral and adulterous." So let's keep it exclusive for two. So by protecting our minds, by guarding ourselves from pornography, fantasy,
Mm.
those things that we talked about just now, then we'll be able to preserve our vineyard, that we can enjoy each other. Change our perspective, we change what we consume for our minds. Let's share our intimacy goals. Okay, tending our vineyard is not just a sexual part, but also our minds. But there's also a lot more. If you look at this, I purposely put an arrow. Don't take an AZ mentality, not like A, hold hands, you have to end up having sex. You know, a lot of the movies are like that now. They like each
Mm.
other, they look at each other's eyes, they're attracted. The next thing you know, they went inside the room. Di ba, yung anak?
Yeah.
But that's not how it is. That doesn't create a healthy sexual life. So change your intimacy goals. There's still so many steps that we can take so we can have a healthy sexual intimacy. And these are the
Mm.
things we can be busy about. Self-knowledge. Know yourself. Other knowledge. Know how to know others. No? Intimate sharing of self. Do we know how to share ourselves? Because um, sex, love making is sharing. It's not just, having intercourse. No, it's really sharing. Intimate sharing of others' lives. These should be developed in us for us to enjoy healthy sexual intimacy. I'm gonna just break it down here. So intimacy. So do you want more intimacy in your relationship? We start building stronger connections. Intimacy does not just happen in bed. You ask all the married ladies here, I'm sure they will agree with me that they enjoy sex more when husband and you and husband and wife relationship is very good from morning to night.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. It
Agree.
doesn't happen in bed. No, it's like, okay, let's have sex. That's it, and you're gonna be all fired up. No,
Mm.
but
Mm-hmm.
when I'd like to say it starts in the kitchen. When the husband helps, the husband provides, the husband is there understanding your needs, you are now very willing to give yourself to your husband. And that makes it love making very, very good. So intimacy is not just in bed. It's not just about being sexy. It's not just being wearing, you're wearing nice nighties. No, those are actually not really important. Um, More is we need to know ourselves. What are your goals and dreams, your likes, dislikes? What is your strength? What is your weakness? Have you accepted yourself? Remember the Shulamite. She can allow the guy to look at her and enjoy him looking at her. But if we can't accept ourselves, we would freeze, right? Ayaw ko tanawa kay nilad kayo ko. No? We can't, if we are not comfortable with ourselves, the lovemaking will not be comfortable. You ask the married people here, they'll tell you the same. So we have to understand also our patterns of relating with others so that we'll know how to relate with our spouse. Intimacy of knowing another. Are we good at listening? Are we good at being? Can we be a good friend? Can we empathize? Are we able to forgive? Intimacy is not just the body intimacy, it's the entire person. Intimacy of sharing yourself. Can you communicate your thoughts and feelings? It is very important. Um, because to enjoy sex, you have to know how to communicate with your spouse. What do you enjoy? what you don't like, what you like, and you'll be able to share. And the more you're able to communicate and understand each other, the more enjoyable it becomes. So you have to learn to share first how your feelings, right? And your thoughts. Do you know how to serve joyfully? Because the Bible says, wife, your body belongs to your husband. Husband, your body belongs to your wife. No? Can you serve? Or it's all about what you want? You know how to sacrifice your likes for others' benefit. So all these are part of your development. And intimacy of sharing other people's lives. Can you rejoice with others? Can you mourn with others' loss? Can you support other people's feelings and goals? All these are part of our development. So we know how to be intimate. So you see, in dating, don't be in a hurry. Don't go from A to Z. Oh, I need to hold hands. I need to kiss. I need to hug. No. Get to know each other. Understand what your patterns are and what his patterns are. Are you compatible? Are there conflicts? Are you able to listen? Is he able to listen? Are you able to enjoy friendship? That there's no pressure can you feel close to each other without being physically close? Now, that's important. No, don't go from A to Z. There's still a lot of alphabets in between. No, are you with me?
Mm.
Are you still there? Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I hope we would take a paradigm shift. No, yes, present to marriage, we don't know when. Only the Lord knows. But instead of thinking of it, "Ah, kadugay, what a long wait, what a frustration, I can't have it yet." Think of it as preparation period. There's so much to do. When I was waiting, I was not really frustrated. Yeah, there are times I question, there are times I wonder, there are times I'm curious, but I was busy living my life, growing, making friendships, knowing people, learning new things. So take a paradigm shift from present to marriage. Where you are right now is preparation period for the one. How do we deal with the long wait or frustration? First, change your perspective. Take a biblical perspective. God takes your love life seriously. Yeah, I tell you, He takes it seriously. Um, he makes your dreams come true. He knows you very well. Yeah. I told you my husband is torpe, but he proposed to me 3 times. The very first time he asked me, he asked to meet me. He said, "Can we talk?" And we were in Bible college, both of us. He was the president, I was the vice president. So I thought we were just gonna have a business meeting. So I went to meet him at McDonald's, and then he said, "Elaine, will you be my wife?" And I was like, "Huh?" So he's like that. He doesn't know how to court. So I turned him down 3 times. And but we were already about to graduate. And so I was a bit scared. Lord, I still don't feel confident that he is the one. And if I say no to him, that means bye bye, goodbye. And what if he's the right one? But there was no clear word from the Lord. But then one day when I was praying, God was telling me, "You always want to take the wheel of your life, Len. It's time for you to trust me." And when the Lord was talking to me about that, his face appeared in my mind. I said, "Lord, okay, I'm going to trust you on this one." So I had peace. That night, almost every night we'd go out, we'd talk, we'd pray. And that night, we were just walking back to the Bible college. And we had to cross that bridge again. And on that bridge, I don't know why I didn't want to go back to the dorm yet. I said, "Can we stay here for a while? I want to see the cars passing by. I just want to be here, this bougainvillea, and then you see the cars passing by." And there was a full moon. And then suddenly he took out a ring and he said, "What's your answer?" And he proposed. I'm sharing this to you Because at that moment, I laughed. I laughed. I was not laughing at him. I was laughing at God. So God, you have sense of humor. You know what a romantic I am. You know how I wish my love story would be unique or interesting or fun or meaningful. And here he is, holding a diamond ring, asking me to marry him on this overhead bridge under the moonlight. It was a very romantic scene. Are you with me? Are you there?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
And
Yes,
and
yes.
at that point, sabi ko, Lord, grabe ka. Grabe ka because you really took my love life seriously. Friends, God
Mm.
knows your desires, but are we willing to trust Him? Have a biblical perspective. Change your perspective. Waiting is not wasted time. Okay? Change your consumption. Protect your mind. Protect your vineyard. Tend your vineyard. Change your intimacy goals. Nurture your vineyard so that when the time has come, you are ready. You are ready and you can enjoy. I'm thankful that when I was young, I was simple-minded and I believe what God said. So I believe that He has a plan for my life, and that included my love life, my sex life. And today, when we make love, I could say, I am yours. And he could say, I am yours too. And that's so precious. I know wala akong kahati, and he knows that too. So instead of the seductive power of desire, I want to ask you, focus on the satisfying power of God's best, right? Focus on that.
Mm.
God has the best for me, and it's gonna be so satisfying. I'm gonna believe it, and I'm gonna wait for it. That way you won't be frustrated. That way you won't be seduced easily, right? So I offer that to you. Before we go to that, wait, sorry, I think I went overboard.
Okay.
Is it time for Q&A? Yeah, it is.
Thank you
I
so
have
much.
some
Excuse me.
I have some questions here that um, do you have questions first before we go to the breakout rooms?
Sige. So let's go to the question, yeah, question and answer portion. Question and answer portion.
Sorry for all the laggy.
Okay, Rati, we made it. Thank you. Let's give si Lenlen a clap. Thank you, Lord.
Yes.
Nga, nilhotan dyan ang internet.
Thank
And
Yes.
Oh,
for
Diyos.
sa mga
It was so bad.
suggestions sa tanan regarding turning off our cameras and then maglahi nga Wi-Fi. So thank you, everyone. We made it. I have few
Yeah, it's hard.
questions. So
Okay, you have few
if napay
questions.
gusto mag-ask, padara i-chat sa ako ah. So kani siya you were talking about katong mga habitual loss, romantic fantasy, and pornography, and then how do we guard ourselves and overcome struggles such as porn? Ano ba ang practical
Sorry, nawala kang feedback, ha?
recommendation or steps like to how to overcome struggles such as of lust and on porn? Hello?
Wait, I'm gonna.
Okay na?
Can you repeat how do we overcome
How do we overcome our struggles
struggles
of
of
lust,
lust and
yeah,
porn?
and porn? Like
Yeah, can you
practical
hear me?
steps. Yes.
Yes.
Of course, I said it already. Number one, make a decision.
Mm.
Okay, I think my internet's gone. Am I still with you?
Make a
Yeah.
decision.
Audio.
Can you hear
Yes,
me,
the
Faith?
audio.
Audio, yes. There. There. Video is okay.
Okay. Audio nawala ang video. Okay.
Okay na
Yeah, thank
karon.
you. Nawala na sad si internet. Let's full bar here.
Pero
Yeah. Okay.
red.
So how do we overcome? Um. Hmm.
It's
Ano yun,
okay.
Faith?
Okay, let's see. Okay na. Continue.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So number one, you have to decide. You cannot be a fence sitter. You cannot be teeter totter. Um. If you really want to overcome, you have to get rid of what is tempting you. You have to stop using. Okay? You cannot say, I want to overcome, but every day nakababad ka watching the same things. You have to switch it off. You have to erase it. You have to, like what I did, I had to burn that book.
Yeah.
That book had such power on me. I tell you, even if it's in the room, I could feel it. There was a spiritual struggle there. I burnt it so that there's no going back because I tried keeping it, but I know where I kept it. So I would look for it and magtago-tago. So if you really want to overcome and you want God's best, you have to make a decision and it will hurt you because these things have pleasure, right? These things bring you pleasure. So you're going to lose those pleasure. But remember, you're losing that pleasure because you want to gain the best. Okay. I hope that answers.
Thank you so much, T. There's another question here. Is there such thing
Go
as
ahead.
sexual compatibility?
Okay. A lot of people say you have to practice to check kung compatible mo, no?
Oh, like live in.
I, yeah, no, there's no such thing. Kay daghan nag-live-in, did they end up together?
Mm.
No.
Incompatible, right? You wonder, oh, may iba na pagkagwapa o gwapo. Perfect sila. What more are they looking for? But they also don't last, right? Because the issue is not compatibility. The issue is what is um, their goal of intimacy. Their goal of intimacy is their own pleasure, right? Their goal of intimacy is how satisfied am I with you? But if your goal is to please the other and the other's goal is to please you, do you think you'll be satisfied? Yeah, you'll find it out. You'll work it out, right? Marital love, a committed love.
Yeah.
I'm for you, I am yours, you are mine. We're gonna work this out. You're gonna bumble. It's not perfect. I tell you, first night stories are funny.
Yeah.
And it's okay. And it's okay because that's part of your history, you see? You look back and you laugh at it. But now we've come a long way, baby. Nga na ang atong
Yeah.
expression, yeah?
Yeah.
We're so good now. There's no such thing as the. But wait, let me put a disclaimer. There can be problems, even if you have um you love each other sincerely. There can still be problems. There can be biological problems. There can be because there's abuse or trauma or wrong modeling in the family. So may mga anak. So there, that's why we have therapy. We have help. Counselors, our jobs are to help. Because it's true, but it doesn't mean they don't love each other and they're not committed. There can be problems. But that's the others, the small portion. I would say normally there's no need to practice. There's no need to see if you're compatible.
Okay. So there's no such thing. Dili necessary mag-live-in para mag-ilhanay, di ba?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Tin. There's another question. Kanisha,
Mhm.
how are we going to respond to people who mock us regarding our purity or gina-kantsaw nga wala pa'y uyab? Should we just keep quiet para walay samok? Kana, wala siya.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's hard. Whoever asked that, that's hard, no? Hmm.
Actually, karon kay ginakantsaw na ang mga virgin.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Then,
Dili ko
well,
na normal ang virgin ang
Yeah,
76.
especially in the
yeah,
Western culture.
yeah. But it's also coming to the Philippines now,
yes.
di ba? Na dinhi.
Yes, because
No longer,
gawat-awat man ta sa Western culture.
oh, we're very good in copying
Oh.
good. Well, I think we should not ignore them if saying something will just make them mock you more. But then say, it's my choice. I want to save myself for the one. No? Come up with very nice one-liners that you can say back. No? I'm tending my vineyard. I'm keeping myself for the one. There was a vineyard. No, unsa man na. Oh, so tagaig something na uy unsa man to pang Miss Universe man kay to na answer.
Oh,
Um, be confident, no? I mean, don't let them make you feel like you're
yeah,
missing out because you're
uncomfortable.
not. You're not missing out. Because I want to enjoy later. I want to enjoy
Joy
for
of
a long,
missing
long
out.
time. And oh, you're not missing out. I'm not gonna miss out later because I'm gonna enjoy my husband to the max, right? I'm not bringing in anything to the marriage except my purity, and that's my gift.
Yes.
I'm saving. I'm a gift to my husband. My ana, no? Oh, pasuya para musunod.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's yeah, don't be afraid. Don't be affected. First of all, um and also pray for them because nga they are being deceived by the
Yeah.
seduction of the world. Mm-mm. Any other question? Mm-mm.
Um, when, okay, next question. When could we know our limits as an unmarried couple
When
and
can we know
even
our
as
limit?
single people? So like limits kung you have someone. Tama ba? Yeah.
Um,
Is it black and white or
no.
paano?
I my professor would say iba-iba. Some people are easily aroused with a little touch, right? Some people are easily tempted.
Mm.
Mm,
So maybe for people like that, make your limits to holding hands or a side hug kasi you're easily
yeah.
aroused. So, wag frontal hug kasi you're easily aroused nga. But if you're not, if you're both not, then it's okay to hug. Um, but you have to have a limit. Uh, you have to have a
Boundary.
limit. You have to decide on a boundary. Don't wait until you're in the car together and it's dark
Mm.
and you're both so fired up and then say, okay, let's talk about what's our limit. Because there's no limit na by then, right? So you
Mm-hmm.
already progressed to the point of no return. So right from the start, don't put yourselves in compromising situations. If you don't want to fall, don't put yourselves in compromising situations. That's number one.
Mm.
Know until where. For me, I made it clear to myself that I want to save my first kiss. No, um, Dr. Rakumbana also has the same note. I'm not saying if you have kissed, then you are more unholy. No, I'm not saying that. It's just for me, it worked out that way, and I enjoyed it that way. Um, so you have to talk about it, and but of course, I think don't go into fondling. You know what's fondling?
Mm.
Touching private parts, no? Ayaw. Um, one of the things when I started my relationship with my husband, I was wondering why he doesn't put his arms around me. And I was thinking, bayot tingay niya akong uyab, no? Or maybe I'm not ladylike enough na hindi ako attractive. I was thinking like that. Because I
Mm.
saw other friends na may uyab, hug kanang hug sa waist, yung ana. I mustered up my courage and I asked him, I said, Johnny, why is it you don't hug me? And you know what's his answer?
Oh.
Because you're not my wife yet. Right?
Sana all.
Sus nako, my heart melted. My heart melted
Aww.
because I felt so precious. At first, I felt, murag di din ko attractive, no? Maot tingin ko, di din ko girly sa iya, no? But when he told me that, that made sense to me. I'm not his yet. So he has no right to be touching those places na hindi pa
Yeah.
man iya. Di
Yeah.
ba? So ladies, I encourage you. Teach your man. If you have a man in your life, teach your man to protect you, preserve you until you are already his. It's
Mm.
okay. You have a lifetime to hug each other. Kapuyon na mo og hug. Right? Wait for the right time. Yeah. But when we're married, PDA kay siya, sige hug. Oh, pahisig hug, kay ulaw kayo. Siya, gusto mo hug. Kasi I'm already his wife. So,
Yeah.
let's wait for the right time. Para no regrets. I hope that
Yes.
answers your question.
Yes. Thank you so much, Chi. Last
Mm.
question. How do you know if he's the one? Is there such thing as the one? Mo na gid nga. Last and final question.
I think that's the most na ano no. How do you
Most
know he's
asked
the one?
question.
Mahog kasi ang comment niya na din yung pangalan. No.
Mo na na-assign.
No, resign, no.
Sign na doon
Actually,
kay full moon man to siya nag-propose. So,
no, actually, first, there's the sphere of God's will. God's word is very clear. What kind of man should you be looking for, right? So, nanay checklist si God. He must love me. He must be faithful. Ganun, ganun, ganun. You know those things. And of course, you have to check if you understand each other, you're comfortable. Um, I guess as you pray, you would know. Apart from the checklist from God is all there, check, 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 check. Sa imong checklist, you're compatible, but maybe not all your checklist is met. That's okay. Kasi we are too unrealistic, we're too idealistic, I mean, right? So, but then you have a meeting, you know, your souls just swap. And as you pray, the Spirit of God will lead you. No, it took me a year and a half to say yes to my husband because my list was not all checked. Daghan kayo X, 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 X akong listahan. Wag medyo mo meet. But God taught me. You're looking at the outside. I'm looking at the inside. And I know you, I know him. And that was a journey of faith for me. And I believe God will lead you. If you're praying sincerely as He led me, He will also tell you if He is the one. But first, make sure on God's checklist, check siya tanan. Kasi pag X siya dito, ayaw na siya ipugos sa ikaduha. No? Not at all. So, sorry, I don't have a definite answer. No comment coming down with a name. Can we ask for a sign? Probably when you have already prayed, you have already the checklist of God correct, but then still you are uncertain. There's this nagging feeling. I think you can ask God sincerely. No, pwede. But don't make sign your go-to thing.
ultimate,
Yeah. Because God, yeah, that's just if really you need it sincerely, and God will answer that. And you will know. How did I know He was the one? I felt peace. I felt I can just be myself with Him. By the way, my husband's the first guy who ever scolded me. Yeah. And yet after he scolded me, he still loved me. And I felt I could just be with him, be myself. I could be real with him. I didn't have to be the goody two shoes that people think I am with him. I think that was one of my telltale signs that this is the one that I would want to spend my life with. But pray, because God will guide you. Each one of us will have our own love stories, right? But one thing I'm sure, when we commit it to the Lord, it will be a wonderful love story.